newspaper review segment, and Daily Graphic has on the front page, Komenda back to life as President Mahama inaugurates sugar factory to create more than 7,000 jobs. That's a banner headline on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Comes with a photograph of President Mahama actually pressing a button to officially inaugurate the factory. You can also see pictures of parts of the equipment and machinery there. A great day for the people of Komenda. That's how the Daily Graphic captures it on the front page. Also here, boat disaster claims 13 lives at Yeji, and then policeman killed by notorious robber. Now turn to the back page, and Breman Benin water project inaugurated. That's in the Breman Esikuma Odobin Brakwa district of the Central Region. The Ghanaian Times has the same story from Komenda, and it says Komenda Sugar Factory is back. Again, the photograph here of part of the factory and President Mahama doing the inauguration of the factory. Also captured on the Ghanaian Times, 3 railway officials blow some 369 million Ghana cedis, and then armed robber gunned down at Teshi Hotel, and U.S. company Swedell's bust of $109 million. That story is captured on the back page of the Ghanaian Times. The BNFT has private security group cries for regulator. The story is captured on page 3, and also on the BFT, Ghana exports 9 million worth of apparel and agua, and boss to sue American firm over $109 million contract. The Today newspaper has tension looms in Zwasi Boku over chieftaincy dispute, and that's on the front page, the photograph of the IGP. And then some story, sports story on the front page of the Today newspaper. GN Bank suspends Division 1 League sponsorship. The Finder has on the front page, VI's debt now $1.5 billion and struggles to buy fuel for thermal plants. That's according to the Finder. And then also President Mahama commissions new Komenda Sugar Factory, notorious armed robber gunned down, and also 1.6 billion food imports under NDC worrying. That's according to the flag bearer of the opposition MPP, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Those are those stories captured on the pages of some of the newspapers. My guest in the studio to my left is the MPP aspiring member of parliament for Tema West, Mr. Carlos Ahenkra. Great to have you this morning. I hope you're doing good.
I'm well, thank you.
Great. And then to my right is Dr. Boateng, a well-known face on the show from the Ghana Technology University College. Good morning, and thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you.
And then the man from Akutia constituency. Is that the name of the constituency? Yeah. Akutia. Baba Jamal, welcome.
Thank you.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay. This was your home. You ran away. Yeah. Okay, welcome back. All right, grateful for your time this morning. Let's start with the stories captured on the, I think 3 of the newspapers have it. Komenda Sugar Factory is back, Ghanaian Times, Komenda back to life, Daily Graphic, and then the Finder says President Mahama commissions new sugar factory. Now, Komenda was once dead. Can we describe it? Let me start with Baba Jama. Can we describe Komenda as having resurrected with this?
Yeah, good morning, viewers. I think that it's heartwarming to have this story. It is something that we're all looking forward to. Komenda used to be a very vibrant area, but due to the collapse of that company, we saw it go down. Now it has been resurrected. I mean, the president has been consistent in terms of what he has promised this nation. He says that in my first term, I want to put the building blocks of development, and in the second term, because a lot of people are saying that, look, you have delivered in terms of infrastructure, you have delivered in terms of roads, buildings and whatnot, but the next thing is that people are saying we don't have money in our pocket. And I remember when we went to Adesso to commission one of the new secondary schools, he said that, look, we are trying to build the building blocks, but a lot of the companies went down. We are trying to build them. As we build them, because for example, this is going to create about 7,000 jobs.
That's what we're told.
And this is even maybe the direct jobs also, because I heard that in the areas that are within 6 hours drive from the company can benefit from the company, because they can. I remember when Komenda was working, those of us in Akwetia, they were planting sugarcane in Akwetia and sending to Komenda. So I think all these things is going to come up again, and people are going to feel the effect of this. So I think that is heartwarming. The president has been consistent. He says, oh, as we build the building blocks, we'll be putting money in your pocket, and that has been going on as every company that comes on board comes with more jobs, comes with money in people's pocket. The schools are being built, comes with more jobs, comes with money in people's pockets. So I think that is a wonderful thing, and we should all show appreciation.
So the job creation process is a slow one, from what you're saying.
Yeah, of course, creating jobs is not something that you can do with just a flip of the hand. What you do, and you see, when you want to create temporary jobs, this one is more or less a permanent jobs for people. You understand? If you want to create permanent jobs, then you can get them only in building factories, right, and building companies, big companies, viable ones. And so if you build a company like this and 7,000 people are coming to come on board, you can imagine, multiply it by maybe a normal family of about 5 in our country. So you know the number of people who are going to benefit. And then you can also look at the extended or the indirect job that this is going to create.
Farmers are going to
come on,
those who sell
transportation, those who sell, all those farm hands on the sugarcane farms and all those things. So it is creating permanent jobs are not something that you can just do. If you want to just create it, you can create a job today and tomorrow is off. But you want to create jobs that will last, that will give people a livelihood. And I think that that's exactly what the president is doing here.
I'm grateful. Dr. Francis Ejenim-Boateng, let's deal with this one. Some have suggested that these factories in the past, state-owned enterprises, have collapsed because government's hands were too deep in running them. So the suggestion is that stay off. Even those on the board should be people with a competence, not the politician. What do you think about this?
I think this is a really good thing to suggest, because as of now, the government is thinking about even somehow privatizing some of the state-run companies like the VRA and others.
And we are told this is a public-private partnership.
Yeah, so this tells us really that we should be thinking more about competence rather than just the creation. I think the creation is fantastic. Resurrecting the area, resurrecting 7,000 jobs is in no means a small thing, even in developed countries. So the government and the private company coming in must be commended for that, and I do appreciate that. But what I will be concerned, just as you said, is good management afterwards. Who are the people who are going to manage this? Because we have had so many instances. Remember, this factory existed before. It is out of bad management, right, from various governments that led to its collapse. So we should be happy that these have been created, but we should not be too happy because as a country, we don't have a good record of maintaining
managing state-owned enterprises.
State-owned enterprises. But one good thing about it is that it's even going to reduce the foreign exchange, the amount of money that we need in bringing in sugar. And I don't think we have got the land, we have got a lot of people who are not employed, who can go into sugarcane, farming. And these will be really very important for the area, particularly the area. So the government must be commended, but subsequently we should be thinking about good management, because all the time it is the government who is going to appoint people to these positions in managing them. And we don't have good records. It doesn't matter whether it is MPP or NDC, the government of Ghana hasn't got a good record of managing state-owned enterprises.
As far as I know, this is a PPP.
It's a PPP.
And so the management of it is likely going to be in the private hands of those.
Government won't interfere?
Of course, government will have an interest.
On the board. Government will sit on the board.
Government will have an interest.
And government is not going to play that...
no, when you have a PPP, it depends on the arrangement that you do. And one of the things I know that all the people who come in for PPP, they insist that they manage it. So if they are going to manage it, then of course government will just have an interest in it.
A supervisory role
kind of, but not a direct day-to-day, interference.
But I think we have seen a lot of this, that the government showing or saying that we are not going to manage, but at the end, they end up somehow controlling.
A typical example is the Ghana Water Company issue, where there was a PPP, and yet we're told that government was deep in it. That's why the whole thing failed.
See, PPP, until recently, didn't even have the law or the rules governing it was not actually even passed. It's until recently that those things have been finalized. So now there's a clear path when it comes to PPP. When you go and sit down with the TPP administration or the PPP management unit in the finance, they tell you this is what you do, this is what you do, this is your role, this is my role. And I don't think that the private man will want to put his money in and allow government to interfere with it negatively. So I am very sure that with this management,
it'll work.
Because you see, this is the problem we are facing with WAMCO, when that private and government came in and the management became a problem. But with this, I'm sure that we have learned from our past and it's going to...
Let's hope so. Carlos, so over 7,000 jobs were told will be or has been created already, because the farm's already on, the factory has started operations. The concerns are that management. Is that your concern too?
Well, good morning. Let me say good morning to viewers, and especially those in Tamar West. And,
right.
I wish you all well, and I hope to see you on this Saturday for our launch of our campaign, and of course a rally to welcome Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I will start by saying that anything that goes to help an economy is something that everybody should buy into. And for me, it's a great thing that the Komenda Sugar Factory is back on the block. It was a little bit embarrassing yesterday when the president and everybody there tried to press start the company. What is start? I asked myself, what is happening? Is it a case of a ghost trying to... But of course, yes, the ceremony went on well. We had the Indians speak, we had the president speak. I think it's a good thing. My concern, basically, is the fact that this factory was a very viable factory until the PNDC ran it down. Ideally, you would have expected that such companies to be divested, foreign interest long before now. I worry, to understand why it has been sitting up to this point. But better late than never.
Right.
I would rather advise that in giving out companies, we should look for such companies, such defunct companies, not going concerns. Like it was mentioned here, the WAMCOs and the all the water people and so on and so forth. You would prefer to have such dead companies resurrected to pick up more people from the streets. If you give somebody electricity, for example, people are already working, they are getting their monies. What good are you going to put in there? You rather end up getting those people coming to invest, picking money out of this country and out. Secondly, I also like to advise that the power needed to push this company to the levels that we're expecting must be provided, of course, at a manageable cost.
We all know the electricity.
Electricity. We all know what is happening.
We're told the company is going to produce about 4 megawatts of power.
It won't start until they have the byproduct.
Oh, okay, all right.
You need to have the byproduct, and you have to have sufficient supply of byproduct. If anybody tells you that from the word go,
they can't produce.
They can't produce, is a lie.
Right.
You see, but before they get to that point, we want them to have a manageable and, of course, a rate which will be commensurate with the activity and also push more money down the pockets of the people. I don't expect that being a new company should invest heavily in electricity to power this company. Whatever they can do to support them, they should do that. when it comes to management, I think a lot has been said already. There's no way a private man will put his money in a business and expect another person to
control.
Gone were the days where, you know, we not go sit down was, you know, like the words of the day. Today, the private man will have a right, and even when the courts are ruled that an employer doesn't have any reason, doesn't have to give a reason for sacking an employee. I think that giving the investors the right to operate and the ambient environment to manage would push this company to a very high level. We are looking at the Abosu glass factory.
The glass factory.
But I heard that being said yesterday by the president. Of course, the Bolga
the meat factory
is there. All the Komenda and tomato are also hanging in there. My surprise also is the reason why the PSI and the Kufuor is not being looked at. The starch factory in Bojuasi, of course, it faced some challenges, production challenges for raw materials and stuff like which I think this company should also have, you know, a certain control over. In our research, or at that point, we realized that over 100,000 metric tons of cassava go rotting every year. This is because peasant farmers, when they cultivate cassava, they only go to the farm and uproot what will feed themselves and their family,
right,
because at this time they have to carry this cassava, and a little that they will sell in the market to buy meat and fish for their soup. That's it. The rest goes rotting. So based on this, the PSI came into being, and of course we all saw how, you know, it worked to get people off the streets to work in Bojuasi and so on and so forth. At a point, it faced certain challenges, you know, weather challenges, production challenges, raw materials unavailability, and so on and so forth. I would recommend to the president that he should look at that one too, because that was a going concern, not even 2-3 years ago or 5 years ago. We can push that also on the market and get people off the street to go.
Do you agree with Honorable Baba Jama that the job creation thing is a process? So the president says in my first term in office, I'm going to create that environment, and then we can build on it by then getting in the jobs. 7,000 plus, just we're told being inaugurated.
I don't agree with that.
Is that a process?
I don't agree with that. I would rather prefer him to operationalize that environment. What is that environment?
You keep the economy. You build the blocks. Provide the roads. Provide the hospitals. Provide all that, and then when infrastructure, provide electricity, and then when it is all done, then now the jobs will come.
But is that what we are seeing?
Of course, we're Komenda 7,000.
Let me hold on a second. Industry thrives on power generation.
Right.
Industry thrives on electricity. Now, in looking for a solution to our doomsaw, we decided to go and bring in an emergency power plant, which Driscoll, the director, CEO of Car Power, is saying is not an emergency power plant. In the arrangement of this car power plant, we are paying double what we are supposed to pay. We could have gotten that machine for 220,000. We are buying it for $220 million. We are buying it for $510 million. The capital recovery cost alone, fixed for this plant, is about $120 million.
What is your point?
My point is, if you make electricity costly, industry will never thrive. As I speak to you today, a lot of our industries are moving either west or east. Why? Because the power that they have to pay to produce is costly and wasn't there. People who were paying, factories that were paying 30,000 a month are now paying 90,000 and 120,000 a month. How do you expect them to survive?
I see.
So that environment which I want him to operationalize
isn't there.
It's not there.
Let me go back to Babajama. So you see, the jobs are coming, but like Carlos is saying, the cost of making sure the machine is working is so expensive that you will end up cutting down the job because the companies won't be able to operate.
You see, when you create the impression as if the current government or the current president is responsible for the electricity crisis, the energy crisis that we find ourselves, is very unfortunate. As Ghanaians, when we are discussing, we must appreciate the fact that this energy crisis was something that was created long time ago. There was a plan from Rawlings' time to increase our energy generation capacity at a pace. Sadly, in the course of our history, there was a break, and that break is the reason why we are where we are. And you see, that's why when I don't expect, especially our friends from the other side, when free open commentators say that, I'm okay. But when they say that, because when you look at the time that the break was, they were in charge. And they didn't put in the plan and continue with it as it was planned. And that's why we are here today. Now we have a president that has succeeded. We go into a crisis. He didn't pass the ball. He didn't blame anybody. He came openly to Parliament and said, look, I, President Mahama, I'll fix this thing. And he didn't stop at that place. Went on and has a plan. As we talk now, we have fixed it somehow. We're still having some few problems. But by 2017 to 2018, we are going to have excess.
Your opponents say you fix it at a very high cost to
you see, that is what they always say. But when you ask them to bring evidence, they will always just say it. But when you ask them to bring evidence, put it on the table, let's interrogate it.
Do you want it now?
They will not. You will not be able to do it.
I can give it to you.
You will not be able to do it because you have said this in over and over. We have engaged you at different levels where you have not been able to prove yourself. So I will not want to go into that. But at the appropriate time, if you want us to come and sit down with facts and figures and let you prove it, I know you'll be found wanting. Because, you see, it's easy to be in opposition and say whatever you want. That's okay. We have been there before, but I think that we were a bit more progressive and developmental than what they are doing. They are more destructive now. But now, so you see, when you are building a nation, those things that build a nation includes, as you rightly said, electricity. You need good drinking water. You need housing for the people. You need roads to open up the country. These are the things that make a country a country. You can have all the energy in the world. If the people cannot travel on the roads and bring the thing, how do you do it? You can have all the money in the world. If you don't have good drinking water, your people will be dying. Now, in Africa, Ghana is second to South Africa in terms of electricity penetration and water penetration. Ghana is second to South Africa. 2, the whole of West Africa. We are the second largest economy.
Wrap up from, let me get Dr.
in West Africa. You understand? So when they start talking that investors are running, investors are doing this, my brother, you must open your eyes to see what is happening in this country. This is a president that has a plan that is moving from 1 to 2, that is dealing with the essentials of an economy. Roads, water, electricity, schools, building an economy. We are not doing politics. We are not doing wishy-washy type of administration. Permanent issues.
Your point is made.
Let me
Carlos, just hold it down. I'll get you the chance to read.
Issues
Don't worry.
put on the list.
Baba, please wrap up for me.
All these companies that I'm talking about, for example, why did the Starch factory collapse? It collapsed because you did it wishy-washy. In your own administration, you start PSI, it collapsed in your own administration. And you are turning around to blame somebody and now you're asking somebody to go in there.
Your point is well made. I'm grateful, Baba. Your point, Dr. Bwati, so you see the two arguments. So which way do we start? Well, Carlos is suggesting that he doesn't see that building blocks. And yet Baba is saying that this is what the president is doing. And so what is coming next are their jobs. Is it a difficult one?
Yes, it is.
I see.
Because if you are talking about politicians and their sayings on air and off air,
right,
I think they are different people.
Okay.
And 2, when it comes to getting facts in the country where records are not properly kept, it's always very, very difficult to have the records to make judgments on whether or not what Carlos is saying is the right one or what Baba is saying is the right one. Because if even the records are there, the administration will not release it to the opposition to have the facts. And these things,
No, we have given them
it's not just you, Baba. It's also about all the political
We have
parties.
given them the facts.
But when it comes to the building blocks, let me come back to the issue. When it comes to the building blocks, it depends on what you take. There are several building blocks that we would need.
Roads,
roads,
schools.
yes. If we talk about roads,
Electricity.
then per my understanding and for what I have seen driving around the country, I will possibly say that the current government has done well in terms of improving on the roads infrastructure. I cannot put figure to it because I don't have the figures.
yes,
but
the figure
when it comes to
aren't there.
the energy issue, unfortunately for these two guys, that is my area. And I think, Baba, when it comes to energy issues, the way we are going, we might be putting the effort, but then possibly it's not the right way. It's just like having 1,000 ladders.
Dr. Boateng, can't you zoom down to exactly what challenge you have with the energy? Because now we're being told that generation is okay, but the problem is how much we're paying for it. And Carlos alluded to
You
that.
see, I think I have been accused of being too pessimistic when the president made mention of we have solved the problem. And I said, no, the problem is unsolved. Because even today's paper, I think one of them is reporting that we don't have, VRA hasn't got money.
The Finder has a
So
front page
all
story. We'll
along,
talk
the
about
issue
that.
has not been about the generating capacity. The generating capacity as of now is in excess of 3,000 megawatts. And our peak load is only 2,300 megawatts. So if we talk about generating capacity, it has never been the issue. It is always about how much money do we have to buy fuel to power the thermal plants. And for me, I think the long-term solution has never been the thermal plant. Maybe I am biased because my background is more of solar energy engineering. But then if you look at the situation now, the cost of generation, we can never sustain this. It won't happen. Because, look, we were spending about 50 million for every 18 to 21 days on the Abuaze plant alone. That is a lot of money for a country like Ghana. So I think we should think about what is renewable and what will, I know investment cost is going to be very, very high.
You're not sure that when the 10 projects are on, we might have gas that is cheaper? Because
how much gas are we going to get?
Sustainability.
Yes, how much gas are we going to get? If you combine the two from Nigeria, we have contractually, I think, 120 million standard cubic feet. That can only power about 400 megawatts. If you do that of the
Abuaze.
No, is it Abuaze? The one in Takrady, what's the name? The new gas, Atuabo. If you do Atuabo,
okay.
How much is Atuabo? Maximum, we're going to go about 100 million standard cubic feet. And that is only going to power maybe another 300 or 400.
So even the gas projects aren't enough?
It isn't enough. I know the water, Akosombo will support that and has supported us for so many years. But then if you add all this, we are growing. If it is a country that we are growing at around 10% demand, then we should match it up. And we don't have that capacity. And we are trying to do that with an emergency power badge, which is only, the contract is signed for 10 years, and yet we call it emergency. So, Baba, I think, yes, I have said this and I will say it again. I think the issue is both technical and managerial. And I spoke very well against the establishment of a new, ministry called the Ministry of Power. I thought the president would rather set up a technical unit that I think the president is doing a lot, making all the good effort in trying to solve the problem, But to me, as an expert in energy, I think the direction may not be a long-term solution, but it is a temporary fix.
Well, I get Baba to react to that, but Carlos, you wanted to react to what Baba was saying about the fact that indeed the blocks are there.
You see, let me talk about something that he said earlier before I come to that.
Right.
You see, whenever the NDC speaks, they like to allude to the fact that there was a break in power generation in Ghana or power production in Ghana, and therefore MPP doesn't do anything. You see, but I like Baba to know that today he walks on the streets of Ghana, he walks in the house of Ghana, he doesn't see those onion bulbs anymore. It was Kufuor's innovation. You see, I think governance is not just borrowing to do things, but by ideas and coming up with innovations. Changing the clandestine bulbs to this energy saving bulb alone saves about 150 megawatts of power. He knows. It was during Kufuor's time that Asogli came into being. Today he is boasting with PPP.
Are you sure Asogli came?
Yeah, he came during Kufuor's time. I remember very well that Valco didn't want to give them land. Kufuor was the one who intervened personally. I mean, Tema, I handled part of Asogli's logistics, and I'm telling you this with an authority. So if you want to put all this together, you will see that Kufuor had innovations. You don't need to go put your money in there, but you can get a PPP to do this for you. Then you use your money, what you generate here, to do something else for Ghanaians. I think we are getting certain things wrong, Baba. Governance is not just about having power or building roads and those things. Because the president
Isn't it a starting point?
The president said that before in 2007.
Carlos, isn't it a starting point?
Hold on. There are so many things. You see, that is where your priorities come into play. You have to set your priorities in order. Put every checklist or to-do list and take them one at a time. The president himself said that being in government and borrowing money to build roads and stuff, and boasting with it is just mediocrity. He has said that when he was in opposition. So why would NDC today come and play as if nobody has built roads in Ghana before? Indeed, if you ask me, that is not where you have to start from.
Okay.
You are building schools today, as you claim, to churn out. It's not. You say you'll build 200 schools. We are waiting.
We have built 123.
Oh, where are they? If I ask you to mention that, you cannot. You see, you are going to churn out.
Baba, please don't heckle him. I get it.
You are going to churn out students.
Please go on.
When you churn out students, where are they going to find a way when they get out of school? Today, look at our streets. It's full of dog chain sellers, full of roadside, hawkers. Because when they come out of JSS and the SSS, they don't have any work to do. Go back and look at Hitler in Germany. When he wanted to go into this war thing, he started building the Autobahn in Germany to get the German people busy, to put money in people's pocket, to let people jubilate whilst he was doing his own thing. Start from creating the jobs before you come to this. Okay. If you look at our government, from Nkrumah's time to Buzia's time, when you finish school and come out, your job is ready, your house is ready. In some cases, even your car. In Tema.
Beyond Buzia,
you messed it up. It was PNDC that messed that got us.
Carlos, don't allow Baba to distract you. Go on.
The point is,
all right.
You see, as a government, put your priorities in order and let us know what comes first. For me, if you ask me, I'll tell you, job creation comes before road building.
Oh, fine. So that's your.
If you agree, then please stop. It's as if a policeman has arrested the thief and just flagging his hand. I have arrested the thief. That is your job.
Okay.
That is what you're supposed to do.
All right.
You see, what we are going through today in terms of electricity is because of this deal that they went into with Car Power Plant. Because today, whether we like it or not, apart from paying for the generation and the power distributed, we're supposed to pay for a capital recovery cost of $120 million every year. That cost cannot come from government's pocket. It has to come from me and you. So they will push it on ECG to charge us and now blame it on a certain software. Okay. It is not software problem, my dear. It is management problem, as my doctor said. Because whether we like it or not, we have to pay that amount of money. The 510 million will have to be paid. And you go and get this bogus agreement in place and you put it on the poor Ghanaian people to go and suffer for it. People who were paying 40 Ghana cedis are today paying 120 Ghana for electricity. How can I rent a room for 50 Ghana cedis in Akwetia and pay 80 Ghana cedis in electricity. Even
Baba, is that how much your constituents are
then Chambo itself, his radio station, ask him how much he's paying electricity today.
I'm sure
It's 3 times.
He won't want to disclose
he
that
will
much.
mention
No,
it. I was there this Friday.
I'm just allowing him to speak.
All right. Okay.
So please, I want you to understand that if as a government, put your priorities in order and take them one at a time. But make sure that the right things comes first. Because building roads will never come. Building schools should not come before creation of jobs.
For you, it is the jobs. I'm grateful, Carlos, for your time. He's an aspiring MPP member for Tema West. Quickly react and then Dr. Komenda, then we'll move to the VRS.
When I see Carlos and his friends speak like this, it always reinforces my belief that this is the type of opposition we need in this country. They should continue to be there. Because you see, they know how to criticize. By giving the opportunity, they do virtually the opposite. And a typical example is the VAT term. When they went on the streets and people died and said they will reduce VAT, the moment they were given the opportunity, they increased VAT. That's their nature. That's why I'm not surprised their presidential candidate is going around, I will reduce electricity, I will reduce electricity. He never tells you how. He will come into power and the next thing that he will increase it. You see, Carlos, you say priorities. Your priority was HIPIC. So you built small toilets and wrote HIPIC on it.
Did they help
across
us?
the country?
Did they help
No.
us?
But you see, when you compare those HIPIC buildings that you built, those schools, one is you are talking about Kochia. Go and see Zion School. It is this, the whole school, 6 classroom block is about this building. And it's like Hancock.
Okay.
So, excuse my word.
Okay.
But you see, you are having a president, our president, I mean, clearly, is one of the most focused presidents we have ever had in this country. Despite all the criticism, despite all the demonstrations, despite all the strikes, he kept focused. Even when we were under the austerity of IMF, development is going on. You are talking about, you say you are talking about governance. You sit in Tema and think that road is nothing. Go to Sola Kalba. When people have to ride donkeys, and now they have the opportunity to use at least even tricycle to pass on the road to their village. You appreciate what it means to have a road. You appreciate when people, human beings and cows, cattle share a stream. You appreciate when a borehole or a mechanized borehole or water is sending. That's why our president has prioritized our development. He look at roads, he look at water, and he look at the extension of electricity. Beyond that, go to a place like Chendere, whose best school classroom block is some thatched edition. Today, they have a 4-story secondary school. All of them. You see,
what cost?
the cost, when we give you the cost,
Okay.
you always go to that cost.
Okay, Baba, wrap up. Let's go to the finder.
What I want
Baba,
you to
wrap up for me.
understand is
Let's
that-
go
what I
to
want
the
you
finder.
understand is that
Yours is borrowed
we
money.
know MPP, you are talkers.
Yes.
We are workers.
Oh, please.
We work.
Akabajama.
And when we come, we have our plan, we are focused, we have our priorities right. Even, you see, when you are criticized, you start with, you are not doing anything because you drag us into court for eight months. Then we started working. Then you say, oh, that we are not seeing the thing. Then the things start coming. We bring you a green book. You say, no, the green book is not, it's Photoshop. Now it's okay. President, go on the street.
And then you
Start
said
showing
it is a real shop.
Then we say real shop. So we go around and show you the real shop. Then
I
you
see.
go at what
All
cost.
right, let's move to the finder. It's okay. Let's move to the finder. They said it's Photoshop. Now you said it's real
Real
shop.
shop. We are showing them
All
the
right.
real shop. They say now at what cost? You see, they have moved to another
Okay,
level.
so Baba, Doc, let me start with you. The VRS issue for me isn't new. We know how much indebted they are. For me, what is worrying is the fact that we're told that they're struggling to buy fuel for thermal plants, and that has a lot of consequences on consumers.
That has always been the case, and I think this was predicted long ago that this is what is going to happen. Because just as I said initially, the issue has never been the supply. Sorry, it's never been the generation. It's always been whether or not we have got good enough money to buy fuel to power the thermal plants. So I am not shocked, but with all these, I think the point is that it's always going to go back to the government. And if I talk about the government, it is not about the NDC government or the MPP government. It's been with the government that have been in power for the past maybe 30 or 40 years. We need to think about the future. We seem to always be thinking about the next 3-4 years. What do we need? And also try to satisfy people. The governments have been trying to, now the NDC government is trying to satisfy the people so that possibly they are voted into power in the next elections.
Certainly.
Yes. So when it comes to thinking about some of these things, it's always been blame game. Give the opportunity to Carlos and to Baba, they're going to blame each other. So all that the politicians are doing in the country now is they look for our vote to win the power. And once they win, it starts with complaints and comparisons. Comparing how much power did you create when you were in power? How much electricity did you generate when you were in power? No, that is not what we are interested in. What we are interested in is providing the people what they need. Let me make a small mention of what Carol said, which I personally didn't like that much, and that was about governance. I don't know much about governance. I've been doing engineering or science all my life, so forgive me if I'm completely wrong. But as a country, I think one of our priorities could be the roads. I'm coming from a small village, and I do appreciate what Baba said. If you have roads, it can make the big difference. So roads, the definition of governance that we have from books and from Western countries, if we come down to our countries, I think we should begin to redefine them, because to the Western, yes, to the Western world, road is not an issue. They've already been built. But to us, road may be a good thing. So if you look at the theoretical definition of what governance is, whereas the Western world will not be thinking about roads, for us it might be very, very important. Electricity may not be an issue because they have excess and 20% more, but we do need it. So the development that we do and the governance definition must be somehow. Joblessness did not start today. It started long ago. And it's all because, again, pointing finger to the governments, they have not put in place the right environment. I'm happy to hear that Baba is saying that we are putting some basics together.
The building blocks there.
The building blocks, but I'm not very sure if we are having all the building blocks right. If you come back to the energy, no country in this world has ever developed without energy. So for me, I don't hope to become a politician one day or a president one day. If I were, my first priority will be the energy. The Western world developed because of Industrial Revolution. What fueled the Industrial Revolution? It was energy. Look at Dubai today. 20 years ago, what was Dubai? What fueled it? It was energy. Everywhere that a country has developed, the basic building block that you need is energy.
Does it therefore mean that so we should pay these bills, the tariffs that we're paying, in order to ensure that the VRA is properly seated? Because the debt is what is.
It is in two parts. If you look at the situation where PURC has come to the Ghanaians and asked for this several times, and at the end they don't deliver, then Ghanaians have every reason to be skeptic not to pay. But if you look at absolute terms and compare it with other countries who also use thermal plant, then somehow it's comparative in terms of the cost. So if you look at it from the absolute terms, then possibly there is a justification to pay.
In order to offset VRA's debt?
Not necessarily the debt.
But if we, of course, if we pay, then perhaps they can use
VRA's issue is not only the debt. It's also about how it is managed.
But we're told that the 10% energy levy, for instance, was to go to cushion the energy sector so that some of this debt can be taken care of.
It's not that straightforward. if you look at ECG is even not paying the VRA, is that not a fact?
Because according to ECG, we're not paying what they call what's the word? The appropriate tariff for it. So they are unable to generate enough money to pay VRA. So now, do we have to pay what we are paying now, so that ECG can get money to pay VRA, so the VRA can pay its debt?
Theoretically, yes. If we want to pay that, yes. But then we have a history. We're looking at the history that there were so many times that we were asked to pay this, and yet the delivery never came. So where is the guarantee that if we pay
Doc,
now?
let me get Carlos in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Before I go on, let me address what Doc said. I never said road wasn't important. But I'm saying on a scale of probabilities.
Okay.
If you are looking at your to-do list, you prioritize creating jobs, probably before roads.
All right.
Because when the jobs are there, even
But when roads
even starting to do the roads will create more jobs.
Right.
But the point is, you need to put more jobs down for the people to get busy, so that they have money in their pocket before you start thinking about it. He knows. When I'm going to my hometown, I go with him on our road.
You are from the Eastern region?
Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
He knows where I'm from. And our road is so bad that I'm sure he won't sit here, or nobody will sit here and see.
Is it the Kede Adesu Road?
Okay, the Kede Adesu.
Yeah, but this government is building the Eastern Region roads more than any government.
Let me tell you something. A sister radio station was interviewing Baba Jama yesterday. And they were ridiculing him because he said that he is doing a lot, and then they were telling him, oh, we were there for a funeral, and then
the road was
that was his campaign promise. His campaign promise.
I'm sure that road will be fixed.
So it's under construction.
Oh, okay. But so, Doc, I will never, NPP will never say that constructing roads are not important.
No.
But we would put our priorities in order. We would make sure that people have jobs doing. They will tackle the roads, because roads are also important to even bring foods outside onto the market. Nanado's government, Nanado being an experienced person, somebody who has slept, dreamt, have a vision. He has a vision to take Ghana to a certain point. If you compare Nanado to President Mahama, he is somebody who has thought of being a president, contested many times. President Mahama only woke up one morning, went to work, went back home, and he became a president. He's a fine gentleman, he's a very intelligent person, but I would say he was not ready. This is the comparison that I would put between the two of them. Nanado is going to come do more than the NDC would expect. Mark my word. In the first year, 2017.
I'm trying to understand the logic here.
The logic is...
Because some students have become better than their lecturers.
Yes, but not overnight.
All right. Okay. All right.
Not overnight.
Okay.
Not overnight. This is somebody who has dreamt and has a vision, has a plan for Ghana. President Mahama did not say he wants to be president. He got to be a president by virtue of the Constitution. Indeed, if he hadn't been for the Constitution and NDC went to primaries, maybe he wouldn't have gotten that position.
But later on, he was acclaimed the NDC candidate and won an election.
Of course, obviously, it was an obvious thing because they couldn't have brought anybody there to sell within that short time.
Okay.
But the point is, if you want to choose between these two people, you would choose somebody who has actually envisioned a certain plan for Ghana. Somebody who wants to take Ghana to a certain level. Over and above somebody who never thought of being a president, or who was not ready to be a president, but became a president just overnight.
Okay, let's come back to the VRA.
Good. Now, you see, Ghana is a low-income country. We brought us to medium income in 2015, by 2015, but today we all know that our salaries are nothing to write home about. You cannot pay somebody 400, what is the minimum income, minimum wage? Let's say it comes about 400, 300 and something, and let the person pay 120 Ghana cedis in electricity alone. It's not possible. So ideally, everybody knows that generating power by thermal wasn't something that Ghanaians could actually handle, because the cost of generating through thermal is high.
So it was a faulty start.
Exactly. One would have thought that whatever money they wanted to push into generating electricity could have gone into Bui, for example. What was the problem with Bui? Is it water? Are we supposed to dredge more to have more water in the dam? Is it the gorge that is not, we should do something. What can we do to help Akusumu to fire all the 6 turbines? because it's known worldwide that hydro is the cheapest source of energy generation. Today we are relying on these thermal plants, and we are hoping that in the future we will get gas to power them. Doctor has just laid it bare here
some rough calculations
that even if we should get all the gas that Atuabo is going to produce, and even have the Nigerian one in addition, we can't do more than 700 megawatts. Our peak capacity is 2,300. So basically, automatically, whether we like it or not, VRA will have to still keep borrowing to keep us running. And I can tell you,
do we pay that debt?
it is not possible.
We can't pay.
We cannot. Today, you go on social media, you see people hitting their prepaid meters. Come and take your light away. They are breaking the meters. One time, somewhere in
There's
the
an
north,
offense.
well,
It
it gets to a point. Why? We're not here when the Sodom and Gomorrah people chased policemen and they ran away. It gets to a point people can't take it anymore, and people's power is God's power. So if you allow that situation to get to that point, that is what happens. We cannot go through by the thermal method and let Ghana survive.
So the MPP would do away with the thermal plants?
You would see what we would do.
What's your plan?
Baba?
Oh, you want to copy it?
You see, that is,
Baba
you see, Carlos has made a statement that I cannot let it go, trying to draw a comparison between the president and Nanado. Please, don't even try that. Because you see,
why?
When you put the two personalities together, one is miles ahead of the other. Because when you look at the two, you see, when you look at the two, one has succeeded because the accounts have a proverb that says, "You bottom fifi." When you want to show greatness, you start it with your home. I would never want to be under a president that cannot keep his small party together, and you think that he can move this country ahead. What are you talking about? So please, I don't even want to go there. This is a person who has come, and the MPP is in the worst form ever in the history of MPP. Worst form. And under the leadership of somebody you say he has a vision. Don't try that at all. Now let's come to the issues about
the VI. We're getting ready to wrap up our conversation.
You see, I agree with
Dr. Boateng.
Dr. Boateng, because he is an expert in terms of energy, and he has shown us. Our history shows that people promise, they don't deliver. So surely when you are asked to pay more, you'll feel a bit agitated. But when you compare it to other places, if only they are going to deliver, then there will be some justification to want to pay to ensure that it runs. Because we've had businessmen who will come and say that, look, I would prefer to have electricity regular and sure of it, and pay a little more than to say that I have intermittent or electricity that I cannot rely on. Do you understand? So all of us, it is the issue of about the chicken and the egg type of thing. How do we manage it? The attitude of we can't pay is surely not the attitude of today if you want to develop. Really? That is the days of the old when the Kumipreko.
Even if they are abnormally high?
No, abnormally high, of course. Once you say abnormal, then it's not something we can accept.
Okay.
We are not talking abnormality. We are not talking abnormality. We are talking about a situation where VRA is in crisis. And it is our main institution in terms
so
of
that we can't keep that.
So how do we keep it? So that is where experts like Doc and other people who can help us come out. You see, the issue about electricity, I personally have had serious encounters with even my local people. Clearly there's a problem. You see, trying to put everything on government, and that is what you are good at doing, it's not helping us. You see, you come and meet the same problems. And when you come, after in 2032, when you come, you will see that you come and meet the same problems. We are trying to build a country.
Solve in 2017.
Building a country means that we have to make some sacrifices. And that is something that all of us must agree. And so I think that the way to go is to put experts together as the Doc has suggested. Let's all try and brainstorm. Let's find a way out. Our idea as a country, or the president's vision, is to ensure that by 2018 we have excess and we can even export where possible. So how do we make it happen? He's putting the building blocks. When I say he's putting the building blocks, you see, when you're putting building blocks, it comes with jobs naturally. Because I can't build roads without creating jobs. I can't build a school without creating jobs. I can't build a factory without creating jobs. In the process of even building the building blocks, you are creating jobs. So the fact that where are the jobs, it doesn't work. But you see, like I said, I like your style of opposition. You are very good in opposition. We'll continue to keep you there.
Okay, Baba, you have said that before. I'm grateful for your time. Doc, wrap up for me. We have just about 2 minutes to get off our seat.
I really wouldn't want to be a politician. And there is a saying, my dad always used to ask me one simple question that, do you know the most intelligent person in this world? And I said, no. And he said, it's the professor.
Oh, okay.
The most idiots? And I said, no. I said, it's the professor. Why? Because if even they are wrong, they will still have good enough arguments to justify whatever they are trying to make. And that is similar to the politicians, isn't it? So if you leave them to talk about issues about energy, depending on who is speaking, it's going to end up always being an argument. But I think for all this, we are all looking for the betterment of the country. This should be at the back of every single individual in the country. We shouldn't be thinking too much. We shouldn't make it a fight, but we should rather be looking at how can we solve the problems of Ghana. And in my opinion, energy. And we should think about solving the energy problem.
All right.
Right. So to also wrap up, I'd like to say that NDC keep on asking us to sacrifice, sacrifice. But you see, if you cannot give me 200 cedis and ask me to pay 300 cedis, it's impossible. That is where we got into that.
The sacrifice is too much.
So it's not even a sacrifice, a punishment. So I'm asking NDC that people are crying, our constituents are suffering. They are saying that the tariff, the electricity, the tariff from the electricity company is too high for them to bear. Let them go back and see what they have to do.
But I'm sure you are aware of the task force that is put in place.
I asked myself, why task force? The thing is with the software.
Okay.
So why do task force? So Ghanaians should vote Nanado. Ghanaians should vote Nanado this November 7th.
Okay.
And in just 1 year, 2017, we will solve this.
All right.
5 months into election. An opposition.
Because we have done it before.
No, hold on. 5 months into the election, opposition party, you don't have a manifesto. You have a meeting. 5 months.
We don't need to even. Baba Jamal is the member of parliament for Akutia. Carlos Ayenkra is the NPP aspiring member of parliament for Tema West. And Dr. Francis Ejeni Boachi is the Dean, Ghana Technology University College. Gentlemen, I'm grateful for your time this morning. We'll be expecting you next week.
Okay.
Thanks so much for joining us.